Good morning from sunny Lisbon. How you guys doing? So, I'm here down by the river in a little district of Lisbon called Belém. And I'm here to visit this museum called the MAAT Museum, which I've never been to. It's fairly new for me. And I've been told it's a pretty cool contemporary museum, and I'm going to check it out. In the distance, you could see the bridge, the famous bridge. You can see a plane up there coming into land in Lisbon. This bridge is very famous because one time it was the longest bridge in Europe, I think. That connects the upper part of Portugal to the lower part. Anyways, looks like it used to be an industrial building of some sort, and now it's something else. So let's go inside and check out the MAAT. Hopefully they'll let me film. Okay guys, I think I am allowed to film. They just said no flash, so we'll find out. Somebody will tell me to turn it off if that's the case. So, contemporary show. I haven't been here before. Let's have a look. This is something about Miriam Can. Something about the body. Figurative art. I like this. It's very old school. Reminds me of some other work I've seen before, but of course here we have an installation piece. As you can see, this work is a little heavy. Not for everybody. here is definitely, slightly disturbing. I would say controversial in some places, so almost offensive, and I'm not quite sure why, but it's just what it is. Well, in this part of the gallery, they have left the remnants of what used to be the mechanics, the pumps and turbines that you see here, which I think was a great idea because it kind of ties everything together. Using the building and integrating its past, I think is a great idea. I'm not sure if this is a vision of the future. Obviously, this is the place we're in right now, and I think they're maybe planning to make something here, or maybe this is a plan of what it is. Some of the old switches, control panels, elevator. Yeah, so I say it's definitely worth coming. I haven't seen the entire exhibit or the entire gallery. There's a couple other sections I haven't been. It cost me €9 to get in. So it's actually a really good price considering what galleries cost in New York City, or even in Toronto for that matter. I think €9 is very reasonable. And I think if you're into modern contemporary art and you're here in Lisbon, you visit Belém. Belém also has other attractions. They do have these special little cakes here, pastries that are particular to this region. I think there's a bunch of kids playing with the audio. So let's see what else is here in this gallery, shall we? Wow, the weather is amazing. Amazing weather. It's just perfect. This beautiful heat, but it doesn't feel smoldering. So nice. Let's see what there is to see here. Apparently there's an exhibit by Jeff Wall. I don't know if this is actually, I don't think it's the building. Have to please. Okay, let's go. That's it down there. Yeah, there's another part to this. It looks wonderful. Look at this. Well, look at this beautiful piece of architecture next to the traditional architecture there, and how beautiful it matches up. Very well done, I have to say. This is still part of the MAAT Museum for you to visit. The ticket includes this area as well. Haven't been inside, but as you can see, it's just a really gorgeous experience, especially it being right next to the river. I think that water element is so important. So important. Amazing. So this is the exhibition here. It's an exhibition by Jeff Wall, who's a Canadian artist photographer who does kind of these types of scenes. And I've known him since the 80s. I find his work not that interesting, pretty bland. It's conceptual by nature, but it's very flat for me. It doesn't really do anything. Obviously somebody high up likes his work enough to pay for it, especially I don't know what his work costs these days, but I'm pretty sure it's not cheap. He's out of Vancouver. He's off the west coast, and you can tell by the images that they're very much west coast. And I don't know, these are new ones, 2022, so I guess he's still working. Obviously this is a complete setup. 2021. I guess he has traveled. And I think he tries to create some kind of narrative with his work, I guess the idea is to sort of figure out what this person is doing, or, but I just find most of it just pretty bland. They have a painting here. Is it a painting or is it one of his works? It looks like something out of the French Impressionists. So I think it's one of his pieces, an inkjet, and I'm not sure if that's him or not. Don't know, but it's very reminiscent of the French Impressionists. So yeah, that's it. I mean, that's the work. I'm not going to show all of it to you because it's just very repetitive, and for me it's not that interesting. But if you're here, again, I think it's worth coming in and seeing it. They do have a nice restaurant up top, which I'll show you in a bit. So, like I said, the work is pretty bland, especially the black and white. And just because he enlarges these photos doesn't make them any more interesting to me. Some artists believe that if you make them big, they become more imposing, and make them more imposing and therefore more interesting, but I don't agree. I don't agree with that proposition. That just because the work is big and imposing, that it's somehow more significant or better. I don't agree with that. This is probably the most interesting piece in the whole gallery, and it was done in 2015. Yeah. Out of the entire gallery, this is the one I thought was kind of interesting. Well, there it is. That was the gallery. I do love this architecture. The show I wasn't crazy about. The entire building dedicated to Jeff Wall looked like a retrospective, but just not my cup of tea. So now I am planning to go over to the other side of Belém to see if I could find a restaurant. I did look at the restaurant up there, but it was very overpriced, you know. Just I don't think the food's going to be that great. So yeah, just explore Belém now that we've seen the museum. There's a part here that I didn't see, which was like the electrical system, some kind of like electrical exhibit of some sort, and maybe I'll come back later, I don't know. I still have my ticket, but right now I just feel like doing something else different. And it's a beautiful building. Man, these buildings were incredible. I don't know if they'd ever build them like that anymore. Look at that brick. So Lisbon is amazing, and I can't stress enough how, you know, I was born in the city. I was born here in 1960, right downtown, at a maternity hospital. And I lived here for about 7-8 years, and then we immigrated out of Portugal because at the time it was a dictatorship, and Portugal was at war with all its colonies. And I didn't want to get drafted. My parents decided to take me out of here, which was probably a smart thing to do. And but coming back here, and I've been here quite a few times, and every time I come back, it's just better and better and better. Amazing. The way they've revisioned the city, restored it, and the way they add to it is just really, to me, something I'm very proud of. Being Portuguese, where they had some of the, I wonder if they kept oil or water in here. Not sure what they kept. So yeah, that's it for now. Let's see if we can cross the road and go to Belém. This is Belém. Look at that wonderful building in front of me. The railings are all rusted, but they're still kind of cool in how they're still authentic. And they have the tiles, later on the front, that gives it a nice distinctive decorative character, like here. Beautiful building. Imagine what it'd be like to live in one of those top floors. I hope they have air conditioning. Well, I just had lunch at that wonderful place called the Prado. I'm sorry I didn't film it, but it's very authentic Portuguese cuisine, and it's very well priced. I had a huge meal. It was total €9. I couldn't get that in North America. So I'm just walking that way, and there's a famous pastry shop that way, which is where they sell the famous bolos Belém. So that's the police here. You notice how the sirens don't crack your ears open like they do in Toronto or New York? Very civilized. They have proper crosswalks where you can cross the street and you're not afraid to be killed. They used to have terrible accidents here before, and I think they really cracked down on them.
That's cool. I'm sorry.
Just got backed up into. This looks like a monastery or something. Not sure what it is. Lovely little park across the street. There's some boats. Look at this cobblestone. So clean. Notice how Portugal is so clean. It is really a clean city. So I just bought the little cakes here at the pastry shop. They're about €4 for 3, which is actually a pretty good deal considering what they are and how famous this place is. I noticed here that they spray some water on you to cool you off. I'm gonna ask this guy. Should I do a coffee? Olá. Sim. Você dá latte, faz latte?
Sim.
Sim. Com a leite oat? Como é que chama?
Oat milk?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sim. Yeah. Só um?
Sim.
So I just ordered a coffee. Hopefully it won't keep me up. And, yeah, looks like it's not by the river or anything, but still pretty nice. Got a big indoors. It's probably air conditioned. It's very nice. Anyways, Lisbon is definitely a wonderful world-class city now. Although it's been very hit with a lot of tourism, which has affected it. In some ways it's made it better because it's forced the residents to improve the conditions and up their level. So in that way it's been a good thing, but it has driven prices higher and it is a bit overcrowded. So yeah, there are some drawbacks too. So I don't want to compare cities and so forth, especially here in Europe, but I would have to say that Lisbon is one of the nicest, cleanest, friendliest cities you can visit, and it has all the elements that you could want in other cities, and more in some cases. Just to be by the water is great. Food is amazing. The people are amazing. The cleanliness is amazing. It's a really clean city, full of life. A lot of things to see and do. If you've never come here, if you've never visited, then definitely I think you should make the effort to do so, and at least once. If you want to come when it's not too crowded, I would say come in September. The weather's still really nice, but it won't be as crowded, and probably prices would be a little, slightly less. I'm getting sprayed with water. Okay, I'll be back. So I just got out of the train in Castile. Castile is the train station right at the base of the river in Lisbon. just under Bairro Alto, and I think I'm going to make my way up there to Bairro Alto. But first I'm just walking this little stretch of street, which is very charming. Very charming street, old Portuguese Lisbon street. And I have to say, the weather is just amazing. I mean, you can't beat it. Oh, this is the train. So instead of climbing all those stairs, people here take the little train. I think you probably have to pay for it. Yeah, I think you probably have to pay for it. But it's cute. Another little tourist thing you can do. Just walk here. There's lots of these little nooks and crannies that you could explore here in Lisbon. Very old, but very nice, shady, and gives you a little bit of exercise climbing up. It's quite beautiful. Again, it's just very Parisian. If you've been to Paris, the old part of Paris, then Lisbon will remind you of it. There's the train. I can hear it. Look, there it is. There's the train. Down. Up. You could imagine this like 40 years ago, 50 years ago. It was even more charming. And look at this charming little cafe, bar. Villa Bica cocktail bar. Cute little spot. Look at this. Coffee, wine, sangria. Look at this little street. Beautiful. Bakery. Look at that. Baked goods. Boa tarde. Isto é pão português? Ah. Não tem pão de milho, não?
Não.
Obrigado. I was asking her if she had some cornbread, which is traditional Portuguese bread. They didn't. All right, let's go back up. Look at this little cute restaurant behind me. Just in the middle of nowhere, in this little corner. And here we have the railway that comes up and down. Beautiful. What a beautiful part of the city. And it looks like people still live here. Probably not the greatest condition of apartments, but who cares? It's a very interesting part to live in. Stairs going up there. More cocktails here. Happy hour. People hanging their clothes. Another cafe, restaurant. Oops. More stairs. Okay, so we'll finally get to the end of this soon. It's quite nice, isn't it? Well, here we are, basically the epicenter of Bairro Alto, a little garden here. Off in the distance, you could see those two flags, I hope. There's the castle. It's the Fortress of St. George, which is the monument there on the other side with all the trees around it. And down below is, you know, the area Alfanda, I believe is called, part of Lisbon, and it goes further south right down to the bottom. And right there is downtown, like the historical zone of Lisbon. That's what you're looking at right there. It's all there contained in that little valley down below, and it runs all the way from the river, all the way up, all the way up, all the way up there. And back in 2018, I stayed in that building over there. There was a beautiful little Airbnb. We had a beautiful Airbnb in that building. And I remember it because I remember this little park in front of it. So yeah, here we are. Beautiful. Simply beautiful, beautiful Lisbon. Just past 6 o'clock. It's a beautiful day. Wonderful sunlight. Just gorgeous. Lovely day to enjoy. This is how it should be. A beautiful day in July. Right at the end of July, actually. I think we're July 25th today. So right at the end. Okay, I'm gonna keep on going, and let's see what we find next.